He is Steve Fezzik from pregame.com, the only two-time winner of the NFL Super Contest out there in Vegas. Those of you that are into that, you know how big a deal that is. You can check him out on Twitter at Fezzik Sports, as well as on the Even Money podcast, where he joins me each week, which is always nice. Steve, I want to get into a bunch of NFL stuff with you, but I saw this bet. I think it was Fritzy, actually, that saw the bet at the Westgate regarding whether or not the Golden State Warriors will make the playoffs. And it's what, 1,000 to 1? Something like that? How much do I win if I bet on the Warriors to actually make the playoffs, which we all know they're going to?
You can risk $1,000, Ross, and you will get back $1. That's a 0.1% ROI. I think I would shop around some CDs. You probably have the same chance of winning 100%, but you'll make more.
Right. So, I mean, for them to even issue those odds, are those what they think are the actual odds, or for them to even just post that bet, is that just to get the attention and the media coverage, and us having a guy like you come on to talk about it? And I've seen stories about it. I mean, is that the deal? Because nobody's really going to bet that, are they?
Well, they'll bet the other side. They'll take 100 to 1. They'll bet $10 to win 1,000 that Golden State won't make the playoffs. You put 100 to 1 up on anything, Ross, people will bet John Bon Jovi to win Best Actor at 100 to 1, and they'll make money.
So, okay, so people aren't – so they will only do the other side, but there's no chance they don't make the playoffs. Like, there's no chance of that.
The true chance of them missing the playoffs is probably higher, much higher than 1,000 to 1. So the Westgate will take about, I would guess, 20 bets on that 100 to 1 and just book it to their bottom line.
So, okay, so the Warriors are so obvious that you can't really make money from it. What about Mayweather? Where did it end up with the Mayweather-McGregor fight? Because I know talking with you for weeks, you said you're going to wait till the very end and then put a bunch of money on Mayweather, let people bet McGregor, bet Mayweather. I think I saw where if you bet $1 million, you got $200,000 back. Is that correct?
Correct. You had to lay $5 to make $1, and the Vegas wise guys, the professionals, really felt that this was a once-in-a-decade type of opportunity. You hate to lay minus 500, but you know what? The public loves to bet $1 to make $4, and the public, despite the fact that every expert said that Mayweather had almost no chance to lose this fight, they went ahead and backed the underdog. So example of Vegas winning, the sports books winning, the professional bettors winning, and the public losing. But this isn't always the case, Ross. During the NBA playoffs, the public kept betting every game over, and the public beat the professionals in Vegas.
Let's get to some NFL stuff. And I think probably the most interesting thing this time of year, now that I know like Joe Hayden got cut this morning and there's some minor moves that'll be made, but for the most part, we've now seen the teams in the preseason. The rosters are pretty much what they're going to be with maybe a couple of exceptions. What are the season win total bets that you really like or have your eyes on?
Yeah, I think the Indianapolis Colts under 8 wins is the best of the bunch. I tell you, I'm pretty sure that Tolzien's going to start week 1. I have no idea when Luck's coming back. And if Tolzien's playing for Indy, they're not as bad as the Jets. They're almost as bad as the Jets. 2 others, I like Oakland under 9.5. Oakland's a very public team. They were very fortunate last year. They won all of those close games, and they travel east a whole bunch of times this year. And a team I am very bullish on, Philadelphia Eagles, over 8 wins. The Eagles, Ross, last year, their last 14 games, they had to play, this isn't in chronological order, they had to play the Bengals, they had to play the Vikings, and they had to play 12 teams that were better than those 2 teams, in many cases much better. No one could have survived that schedule.
That's interesting about Indy. How much has that line changed just as Luck continues to not practice? Like, where was the Colts line?
It started off at 8.5. I love Andrew Luck. If Andrew Luck had been healthy and ready to go, I think 8.5, even shaded to the over, would have been correct. The market is in denial here about how serious this injury is to Luck. It reminds me in many ways, the news on this, of what happened with Peyton Manning the year that he was out that season win slowly trickled down every week, and ultimately didn't even play. The Colts won 2 games that year.
So who would be the best then? The best bet. We're talking with Steve Fezzik from pregame.com, as well as the Even Money podcast. You can check him out on Twitter at Fezzik Sports. Who do you feel like? And I know you don't like Super Bowl odds bets, but what team do you think would be, if someone wanted to lay money on a Super Bowl odds bet, what do you think the best value is from any team? Is it the Eagles? Is it somebody else?
This is going to come across as incredibly square. I've made one futures bet, Ross. I bet the Patriots 2-1 to win the AFC and 4-1 to win the Super Bowl. I think the Patriots are so much better than every other team that the team with the lowest odds, the Patriots, is actually the one team that I think has value in the futures betting market.
So you still think there's value there? Don't they still beat the spread almost every week?
They went 16-3 against the spread. How is that possible that an ultra-public team that the what they call the squares, the public bets on, how can they keep covering? The point spread tax should get you because you have to pay for the Patriots and the spreads get jacked up. But here's why, Ross. The Pats stats are never very good relative to elite dynasty teams. Their yards per play, they gain like 6 yards per play. They give up 5.5. It's not like they have this huge disparity. The Atlanta Falcons had much better stats, to put it in perspective, last year. But Belichick is the genius. Belichick makes all the right decisions in almost every game. Belichick doesn't punt on 4th and 1 from the other team's 44. He doesn't try 55-yard field goals on 4th and 1. He doesn't do all the stupid things that the bad coaches do, such as when the game's on the line, kick off to deep in the end zone when you're kicking off from the 50. He pushes and kicks off to the 2. I love the Patriots.
Hey, what's the Jets win total at right now?
The Jets win total started at 5. It is free falling. It was 4. It is 3.5 now.
Have you ever seen an NFL team below 4 before?
I can't remember the last time I saw an NFL team even at 4. And what is happening here, I have the Jets, my power ratings are up. I have the Jets 11 points worse than an average team. I know the players are going to try super hard and want to win. I am firmly convinced this is a trust the process Philadelphia 76ers attempt to get the number 1 pick in the 2018 draft.
Wow, Steve, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Ross.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.